Here we go. Number 2 in the semifinals. Welcome back to the 2A State Volleyball Championship at the Denver Coliseum. I'm Corey Allen Ford. Jim Murphy is our fantastic, extraordinary cameraman. Taylor Gross is our fantastic, extraordinary graphics person running the engineering as well. We are set for semifinal number 2 between the Swink Lions at 24-2 and the undefeated Simla Cubs at 27-0. The winner gets Lutheran. Of course, everybody wants to see the undefeateds play in the championship. We thought this was going to be a day of 5 gamers. We haven't seen one yet. And I mean 3A is ahead of everybody on every court here, already into their second semifinal. Championship tonight at 7. Of course, Lutheran is already there, and we're underway with Swink on first serve. Here's Simla in the white uniforms with the gold and blue trim, and a kill for George right off the bat for Simla. Her and Mitchell are fantastic for the Cubs, in case you don't know. I'll be saying their names a lot. You'll be seeing their number a lot. 1 and 3. Here's the set on the far side, bumped over by Roberson. Dug out. Here's George coming behind her setter on the sliding China wall and powers it home, and it's 2-0. Cubs. On serve of the Cubs. And the serve into the net. Hannah Lutz with the serve into the net. Swink with the ball back after they started off with the first serve. Lindsay Tatum will have the serve for the Lions. And Coach Heath Grantham. 24-2. And a dink attempt put down in front of the sliding Robertson in the back row. 3-1 Cubs. Senior Jessica George. Part of the combination with her and Kinsey Mitchell. In 2A for the first time since 2009. Dink attempt dug out by the Cubs. They lead it 3-1. Swink the opportunity here at the net. Cut shot by Stewart. Great sliding dig on the ground by Sammy Katz. Lions again. Pounded down this time by Jackhart. That gets Coach Heath Grantham jumping up in front of his bench. Her first kill, and it's 3-2. Here comes their designated server supreme, Taylor Holland. Jackhart gets the kill. It's 3-2. Chance for the tie here. Here comes the set. Mitchell comes in, goes off the block strong. Ball stays on the Swink side. Opportunity, tip block. Tipped over with the left hand by Stewart, dug out by Simla. Another tip, this time dug out. Stewart to the net, tips it with the left hand, even though she's right. Simla able to get it. Now back to Mitchell, who pounds it down to the back row. 4-2, Mitchell's first kill. One of the tops in the state in that category. Winner plays Lutheran for the 2A state title tonight, and there's a serve off of Tatum for an ace, and a 5-2 lead for Simla. Alexander on serve. Another service ace in front of the back row, sliding Holland. 2 in a row for the Cub setter. And being a Chicagoan, saying the Cubs is hard since I'm a diehard Sox fan. Here's Stewart with a big hit, dug out in the back row. Punched over into the net, though, by Simla. And Swink will get the opportunity after the point. Here comes Gallegos, one of their better servers as well. She will serve with the left hand. Talking to her coach, Heath Grantham, who tells her where to hit it. And she pops it up deep in the back row. Smith up to her setter, Alexander, setting up Mitchell in between the block of Tatum and Roberson. Kill number 2 for Mitchell. And a 7-3 lead, Simla in game 1 of the state semifinals. Sliding dig. Here's Tatum, far side for Stewart, and it goes long. 8-3 Cubs for legendary coach Sue Snyder, who's been there, done that. 300-plus match victories in the state record books. 8-3 lead for the Cubs. Mitchell flips it over. Right back to the Simla side. Here's the back row hit by George. Dug out in the back row by Holland. Lions with the opportunity. Roberson tries to tip it. Mitchell got it. Tip back over to the Lions side. Here's Tatum. Stewart takes a rip at it and goes for the cross-court winner. Madison Stewart, her first kill, and it's 8-4. Stewart on the serve. Here's the back set. Punched over by Mitchell. Couldn't get a hit, so she had to punch it over. Here's Tatum with a big rip. Dug out in the back row by Smith. Bumped up front. Mitchell with a hit. Blocked by Swink. Back onto the Swink side. Free ball opportunity. Stewart sets up Tatum, and she'll half volley it. Dug out by George in the back row. Here's the shoot set and pancaked by Tatum, but no, she didn't get there in time. She had her palm on the ground, and it hit the top of her hand. Well, they say it hit the ground first, so it's a point, and it's 9-4. Stewart bumps it up. Back set at the net, Roberson. Simla with it. Now to George. Cross court in the winner. 27-0 are the Cubs. Would love to play Lutheran, who's 28-0 for the state title. Got to get by Swinkville. 10-4 in game one. Slam dink attempt dug out by Tatum. Slam dink this time for George works. Swink fans want to carry. Both teams do that slam dink where you get up there and you just slam it down to the ground. And Swink with the ball, 10-5. They did call that a carry. And it goes off the block for Simla. 11-5. One game match to 25 to decide that breakup of their pool. That's interesting. That's how they're going to do it. That's cool that they give them that opportunity instead of go by win percentages, which I heard earlier was going to be the case. 11-6 is our score here. Swink with the ball on serve. Here's Tatum. Good sliding dig. Doing the pop-up slide into second base was Casey Smith over there for Simla, but not able to get it up over the net, into the bottom of the net. It's 11-7. 4-point lead, another sliding dig, this time by Mitchell, and it goes out of bounds again. So right now, Swink finding the openings in the Simla defense and the serve receive, and it's 11-8. Here comes Tatum with a soft serve. Overpassed onto the Swink side. Free ball opportunity, and they back bump it. Simla with the chance now. They set up George. George with a big rip, dug out back row by the Lions. Here's Tatum. Tips it over the block and down. From 11-5 to 11-9. Simla's lead down to 2 in game one of the state semifinal number 2. Here comes the hit. Back row, just long. Tatum tried to find that back line, couldn't do it. And it's 12-9 Simla. And they'll be on serve. Swink tips it across. Here's Alexander. The setter turns hitter and turned her shoulders, squared up, and let it rip. She gets the kill, and it's 13-9. Another serve for the Cubs with the 4-point lead. After Swink had cut it to 2. Here comes Alexander setting up George. George back row, too far. Hitting air, gives the ball back to Swink. Trailing by 3 and with the serve. It's Lindsay Tatum, number 15 in the maroon uniform with the white numbers and the black trim. White uniforms, yellow and blue for the Cubs. And there's George off the front blocker, nice and soft for Jessica George. Gets a kill out of it. And a 14-10 lead, her third kill in game one. She'll go back and serve. Here's Tatum setting up Estrada. Big hit at the net, pounded back and down this time by Jackhart. The overpass on the return, Jackhart gets the kill. Her second of game one, and it's 14-11. Here comes the rotation as Jackhart comes out. Holland goes back to serve for Coach Heath Grantham. 14-11 in game one. George bumps it up to Alexander, setting up Mitchell. Cross court into the double block and out. Off the double block, back off of Mitchell and down. Point Swink, and it's 14-12. Simla by 2. Holland again on the serve. The hit, knocked down. (15-12). Simla. Popped in the air. Holland. Roberson bumps it back. Simla side. 3-point lead. Mitchell blocked at the net by Roberson. (15-13). Substitution. Estrada comes out. Gallegos in. 2-point lead, the Cubs. And the serve by Gallegos. Bumped up into the back row. Here's the hit by Mitchell. Bumped up at the net. Mitchell slams it down. Swink was in the net. Point for Simla. 16-13 Cubs. Here's the serve. Bumped up by Stewart. Right back to the Lions side. They're running around for it. Now here's the bump set at the net. Tipped over the left hand by Stewart. Pushed back over by Alexander. Here's Tatum to Roberson, and it goes long. Tried to short side right into the Simla Cubs bench. 17-13. Simla by 4. Here's a set for Stewart. Blocked at the net by Mitchell. Right back to the Lions. Set again for Roberson. Finds the back corner. Roberson with a couple of kills. 2 in this game, and Madison Stewart on serve. Punches it into the net. Point Simla, ball back. 18-14. Cubs over the Lions. Second semifinal. Winner plays Lutheran for the state title tonight at 7. Back bumped over by Tatum. Alexander shoots, sets. George pounds it down. Jessica George in her 4th kill. 19-14. Simla by 5. George again, this time off the block. And out of bounds it goes. Swink gets the point. 19-15 Simla. Leah Roberson will have the serve. Deep off of Smith, out of bounds. Point Swink. 19-16. Roberson again. Deep again, to the net, off the net. A lift is called by the chair official. 17 for Swink, 19 for Simla. The 4-point lead cut in half, back to 2. Here's Mitchell. George just bumps it over. Free ball opportunity for the Lions. Here's Tatum, back sets. Jackhart is dug out in the back row by the Cubs. George, too long and far. Actually, that was Mitchell. And it's 19-18. Sue Snyder gets off the bench, telling her defense to move up. Roberson. Smith bumps it in the air. To Mitchell. To George. Dug out in the back row by Swink. Here's Lindsay Tatum with a hit. Off the block up front. George with it and down. Kill number 5 for Jessica George, the senior. Wants to play in a state championship. 5 kills in game 1, 20-18. Here's Tatum with a big rip. Ball tapped over. 4 hits is the call by Simla. Point for the Lions, 20-19. Tatum with the serve. Bumped up front, Alexander sets up Mitchell. George off of Mitchell on the block return, out of bounds, and we're tied at 20. Our first tie of game one of the second semifinal. Tatum off the top of the tape and down with a service ace. Timeout, Simla. Swink, 21. Simla, 20. A minute break from CHSAA TV and the 2A State Volleyball Championships. All right, we come back to the Denver Coliseum, 21-20. Swink has taken the lead after they trailed most of this first game. Sarah Tatum is on serve with a 1-point lead for the Lions. First time the Cubs have been down in the tournament. Tipped over by George. Here's Tatum punching it over. Dug out by the Cubs. Big hit down the middle by George, and down it will go. She has been the go-to person here. Mitchell has been shut down, while Jessica George has 6 kills for Simla. Our second tie in game one. We're knotted at 21. Here's Estrada off the tape. One more hit. Simla gets it back over. Tatum puts it up. Estrada back over. Back and forth we go. George behind the block, and good. As Stewart slides into the net, protecting court 1 and court 3. Another kill for George, 7 now, and it's 22-21. Serve into the back row. Tatum sets the front. Estrada with the hit. Pancake dig. In the back row by number 6, that was Casey Smith, but not able to get it up and over. We're tied again at 22. Lindsay Tatum on the serve. Here's Mitchell bumping up to Alexander. Back set to George, who goes right down the middle for the kill. 23-22. 8th kill of the first game for senior Jessica George, who will serve. 1-point lead for Simla in game one. Blocked at the net by Alexander, right back to the Swink side. Here's Stewart again. She'll tap it over the block. Punched up by Alexander. Bumped over by Mitchell. They'll set Jackhart. Dug out by the Simla. Shoot set. Put down by Mitchell. We haven't said her name, and there it is. Her second kill and a timeout called by the Lions. Comes at an opportune time, a little shoot set right in front of the net, in the middle, from Alexander, her setter, and Mitchell deposited the ball on the far side of the court into the open spot. Our match coverage brought to you by the Bank of Colorado, Viero, Crop Production Services, Colorado Farm Bureau Insurance, Adams State University, and College in Colorado, where collegeincolorado.org can help your students create a lifelong plan, explore their dreams for the future. It's coloradoincollege.com. Or check that, .org. 24-22 Simla. Jessica George with 8 kills in game one. Serves for the first game. Game point. Roberson bumps it up to Tatum. Sets up Madison Stewart into the double block and down. Mitchell Alexander with the double block and the win for Simla, 25-22. Simla 25, Swink 22. Game 1 done. On the game 2. Cubs are trying to get to their first 2A championship since 2009 when they were here last as a 2A team. We'll take a break on CHSAA.tv. We're back to the Denver Coliseum in 1 minute. This is the 2A state championships. Back to the Coliseum in Denver. Game number 2, Simla won the first, 25-22. State semifinal number 2, the winner plays Lutheran, undefeated in the championship match tonight at 7. After the Cubs serve, Swink has it, tries to tip it across, bumped up across, back to the Lions side. No score in game 2. Tatum tries with the left hand. Here's the set for George. George, who had 8 kills. A lift is called as the block was administered by Swink. George got her hand in the cookie jar, so to say, and it's 1-0 Swink on serve and with the lead. Sarah Tatum with a serve. Good hard serve, bumped up by Smith. The set to George. George with a big rip and down. Off of Estrada. Roberson not able to chase it down. George with another good start in game 2 for Simla. 1-1. We had only 3 ties in that last one. Last was at 22, and that tip is staying on the Swink side, and the Lions give up the point to the Cubs, and it's 2-1. Jessica George on serve and hits it into the tape. Service error, tie game at 2 in game 2. Tatum will serve it. Here's the slam dunk attempt by Alexander, dug out by Stewart and the Lions. Stewart with a big rip, goes off the block. Alexander sets Mitchell. Mitchell cross court for the winner. 3-2 Cubs. Mitchell with only 2 kills in that last game, but had that kill and that block at the last 2 points. After the match was tied at 22. Stewart down the line, out of bounds. 4-2 Cubs. Marilyn Alexander on serve. Back row, bumped up by Roberson. Back bump, back hit by Tatum. Free ball opportunity for the Cubs. They'll shoot the middle. Mitchell taps it over. Out of bounds it goes. Point Swink. Mitchell was way too close to the net and she jumped. Just luckily got a piece of it. Came back to her side, and then Smith hit it out of bounds. 4-3. Simla by 1. Served by Holland, who checked in, and it's a service ace. Is Simla not able to return it? 4-4. Third tie here early in game 2 after 3 in the entire first game. All late. Mitchell double blocked. Roberson and Stewart got her that time. 5-4 Lions. Holland, soft serve to Mitchell. Alexander. And the nice little dink over by Mitchell, who read the defense perfectly. They were waiting for her again for another block attempt. And the little soft dink ties it up at 5. Here's Swink on the opportunity. Now to the Simla side. Mitchell takes a ripping down. 6-5. 6-5. The lead for Simla. Swink the opportunity. Mitchell taps it over the left hand. Bumped up by Hannah Lutz. Back to the Swink side. Great dig by Holland and put down by Madison Stewart. Stewart with a kill, her first in game number 2. And we're tied for a 5th time already, 6-6. Gallegos checks in for Swink as the designated server. Lofts it over, bumped up. Mitchell gets the return, down the line she goes. Boy, she's so close to looking like she's throwing it and kind of palming it and just placing it. But the call goes the way of Simla, and it's 7-6. She will serve, bumped up. Tatum to Stewart. Stewart cross court on the winner, past the diving Casey Smith, who got a piece of it, but not enough to get it in the air, and it's 7-7. 6th tie of game 2. Stewart on the serve. Bumped up by Mitchell. Set George. George cross court and wins. With the Simla girls just straight down on all their hits. 8-7. Georgia's second kill in this game. 10th overall here in the match, just in game 2, meaning she had 8 in that first game. Here's Tatum off the block. Sliding pancake dig attempt by Smith to no avail as it hits the floor for the point, and we're tied at 8. Roberson on serve for Swink. As back and forth we go in game 2. Nobody's able to get the momentum as of yet. Here's Alexander. Shoots set. George bumped up by Gallegos to the middle of the tape and over the net. The joust is won by number 1, Sarah Tatum for Swink. She had enough oomph on it to hit it down. 9-8. Swink regains the lead by 1. Mitchell bumps it up. Alexander to George. Dug out this time in the back row by Stewart. Shoots set. Tatum double block. Great dig though by Robertson. Gallegos bumped over. Free ball opportunity for Simla. Chance for the tie. Here's George with a hit in front of Robertson in the back row, and it's tied at 9. (9-9) on Georgia's third kill of game 2. Chihara is into the game as lofting it over the top of the block, and in front of the back row is Jacquard for the point. Swink the point and the lead. It's 10-9 as we continue to go back and forth. We've been on the seesaw since it was 4-2 Simla. Or 4-3 Simla. Smith diving dig. Alexander back bumping the net. Tapped over by George. Swink with control. Here's Tatum double block. Oh, and it finds the back line. Just in front of it on the double block. And we're tied at 10. George on the serve. 10-10. 9 ties so far. Here's Tatum. Casey Smith gets out her left forearm and punches it in the air. Back to the Lions side. Here's the underhand bump by Estrada. Setting the middle. Big hit by Mitchell and down. Nope, 4 hits is the call on Simla. Swink the point. And the serve for Tatum. Sue Snyder didn't like that call at all. 11-10. She's been around a while. I think she knows him. Here's Mitchell running, mashes it down in front of the back row, diving CHSAA. And we're tied at 11. It's like a broken record. 10th tie early on. Tipped over. Bumped up. Put down by Mitchell. 12-11 Simla. Alexander on serve. CHSAA bumps it up front. Nice cross-court dink by Stewart. Great sliding dig by Casey Smith. Here's Stewart off the block of Mitchell and down. And we're tied at 12. And the beat goes on. Twelve. Holland the serve. Bumped up to Mitchell. Double blocked. Right back on the other side. Nope, 4 hits. They didn't say Mitchell did not get it across as it hit the top of the tape. Swink back up. 13-12. We've had a tie from 4 all the way to 12. Nobody's had more than a 1-point lead. Here's Mitchell. Down again. Tied again at 13. Alexander punches it across on the serve. Back set at the net. Estrada on a replay as the ball comes over from court 5A. all, 1 game to none lead for Simla. We're in game 2 of the state semi. The winner plays Lutheran. Here's a block at the net. Roberson. Back bump by Tatum. Tipped over by Roberson. Set the middle. Big hit by Mitchell and finds a corner. Actually, Swink was in the net. They call before the hit. 14-13 now. Simla by 1. Trying to break this trend of ties. Going back all the way to 4-4. Big hit by Estrada. Punched up in the air by Simla. Here's Smith. Deep corner out of bounds. And guess what? We're tied again. 14 all. 13th tie here in game 2. Gallegos will serve. Dig by Smith. Punched over by Alexander. Free ball opportunity for the Lions. Stewart with a big rip. Forearm by Smith, but out of bounds. Stewart gets her second kill, and the lead back to Swink. 15-14, Lions by 1. Gallegos to serve. Smith bumps it up right side for Alexander. Sets up Mitchell, who tried to slam dink it across. Couldn't do it. Stewart sliding dig in the middle of the court by Casey Smith. Back to the Cubs. Smith. Half volley in front of the sprawling, diving Lindsay Tatum. And it's 15 all. Cubs on the serve. That'll be Mitchell. Stewart with a half volley. Punched up by Alexander, and it lands over the net, but out of bounds. Just on the other side of the line. 16-15. Swink by 1. 14 ties here in game 2. Stewart on the serve. Alexander will set George on the far side. Bumped up in the back row by Stewart. And into the net is the call on Simla. Sue Snyder has seen enough of these ties. Swink is now a 2-point lead, and that breaks the trend, and it's 17-15 Lions. They'll have the serve after we come back. 17-15 in game 2. Swink leads Simla after the Cubs won the first game of this state semifinal in 2A. The winner gets Lutheran in the title. We're back to the Coliseum in a minute on CHSAA.tv. Back to the Denver Coliseum. I'm Corey Ellen Ford. Taylor and Cole got the graphics. Jim Murphy's got the camera. And the hit for Jessica George as she's got the right stuff again. 17-16. George with another kill for the Cubs. We had been tied from 4-4 all the way to 15-15 with only a 1-point difference. And Swink then got 2 in a row to go up 17-15. The timeout was called. Tatum tries to go over the block, and she does, but it's out of bounds. And guess what? We're tied again. '15th tie of game 2. Here's Tatum, dug out by Smith. Alexander. Mitchell will take a back row hit. Bumped up in the air by Gallegos. Here's Stewart. It'll be a free ball opportunity for the Cubs. Smith, Alexander, George. Dug out back row by Stewart. Here's Tatum with the big hit. Half volleys it. Alexander tries to slam dink it across. Saved by Tatum on the tape. Pushed down by her sister Lindsay. Sarah back bumps it. And they say Swink was over the line. So the point to Simla and the lead at 18-17. Lions are celebrating, but it goes for naught. And then the serve out of bounds by Brett Smith for Simla, and we're tied again at 18. And Swink will have the serve. Roberson. Brett Smith in the back row. Sets up George, who's double blocked by Sarah Tatum and Maddie Jackhart. 19-18 Lions. Neither team can get any momentum. We've had 16 ties in game 2. The ball trickles onto the court from 5A. It's out of bounds. Point to Swink. Ball was rolling on the court. Someone had to kick it out of play. Sue Snyder wants to know why is it not a replay. Ball was on the court. Ava Bear says no. So the Cub fans are in disbelief. 20-18. Swink with a 2-point lead. Serve is long by Roberson. It's 20-19. And a chance for our 17th tie of game 2 coming up. Bump in the back bow by Chahura. Off the block for Lindsay Tatum. And the tie will not happen for right now. It's 21-19 as Tatum gets the kill. Swink trying to knot up the state semifinal after Simla won the first game. 25-22. Off the tape and down. Sarah Tatum has that mastered. Hard enough to hit the tape and then fall straight down to the floor. She's done that twice now in the match, and it's 22-19. Biggest lead since early in the match when Simla was up 4-2. Great sprawling dig by Stewart. Here's Gallegos to Tatum. Alexander sets the middle. George, big hit off of the libero for Swink and out of play. George comes to the rescue with her 5th kill of this game, 13th in the match thus far. And it's 22-20, and Jessica will go back to serve. Here's the tip into the net by Estrada. 22-21. Simla trails by 1 on the serve. Senior Jessica George. Chahura up to the middle. Tatum. Double block at the net by Alexander and Mitchell. We're tied at 22, 17th tie of game 2. Cubs have fought their way back from down 3 here late. Bumped up, Alexander to Mitchell, tips it across. Tatum Gets it on the return, down the line, and a winner. Lindsay Tatum down the line with another kill. Her second. 23-22 swing. Trying to win a game and not enforce at least 4 games out here in the state semifinal. Here's Stewart off the double block. Alexander able to retrieve. Bump set the middle. Mitchell takes a swing and gets it down. 23 all. 18th tie. And we have a timeout on the court. Can you blame them? 23-23 in game 2. Simla won game 1. We'll come back with the rest of game 2 after a break. CHSAA.TV and the 2A State Volleyball Championship semifinals from the Coliseum. Back to the Coliseum. Similar 23, Swink 23. Alexander on the serve for the Cubs. Chahura's down, bumps it up. Stewart with the big rip. Punched off. Stewart the kill and the point for the Lions, and 1 point away from tying this semifinal at 1 game all. 24-23. Stewart with 3 kills, and we've got a timeout on the floor, and we'll keep it right here. Cheyenne Mountain leads Valor Christian 2-0 on the 4A court. 5A court. Doherty leads Cherry Creek 1-0 in a semifinal. 1A, Weldon Valley leads Caliche, or Fleming that is, 1-0. 3A, they're still playing in the pool play because they were tied. Platte Valley just eliminated Roaring Fork 1-25. They won 25-11. Now they get to play Eaton, the other team they were tied with, who they just got done playing a match with before that Roaring Fork 1-gamer. And now they play 1-25 to see who gets into the semifinals. So 3A might be here all night. Here's Mitchell, blocked at the net by Roberson. Swink the win, and we're going to go at least 4 in the state semifinal game, match number 2. The Cubs lose their first game since September 22nd. 25-23, Swink the win, and it snaps a streak of 19 straight matches won by sweep for Simla. They are not invincible, as the Lions have found out. We come back with Game 3 after Swink wins 25-23 in Game 2 in just a moment on CHSAA.TV and the 2A State Volleyball Championships. We get ready for game 3. Simla hasn't seen one of these since September. See if they remember what it looks like. Or I should say they haven't seen an extra game. That'll be game 4 coming up later. 1-1 tie here in our match. After Swink won that last one 25-23. They start off with the serve. Simla returns it. Swink hits it long, and the Cubs are up 1-0 in game number 3. Sprawling dig for Roberson. Here's Estrada. She's blocked at the net by George. Right back to the Swink side. Swink had only come in having lost 4 games all season long, as George is able to get the kill in a 2-0 Simla lead before they lost twice yesterday at Sangre de Cristo, which was a shocker, and then they put away Paonia this morning in the semis, 3-0. Here's Tatum with a big rip. Bumped up in the back row by Mitchell. Alexander will just dink it across with 2 hands. Here's the set for Tatum again. Blocked at the net by Alexander on the far side. Back to the Cubs side, dug out there. They'll set George. George pounds it down. No, George was in the net. Point Swink, 2-1. Swink with the serve. Here's tipped over by Alexander with a left hand. And the point for the Cubs, and it's 3-1 Simla. Here's George on the serve. 3-1 lead for the Cubs in game 3. Stewart cross court but out of bounds. 4-1 Simla. Simla on the serve. Tatum back sets the front net. Stewart tried to tip it over. Slam dink by Alexander and down. 5-1. She's had 2 of those early on. Has Alexander. She's their setter, and it's 5-1 Cubs. Off the tape and down for the serve. It's ace for Jessica George. And a good start to game 3 for Sue Snyder, who's yelling encouragements to her team as they come to the bench. Heath Grantham calls timeout. 6-1 Simla over Swink in game 3. We're tied at 1 game all in the second state semifinal. The winner gets Lutheran and state title tonight. 2A state volleyball championships continue for the Denver Coliseum on CHSAA.tv in a moment. Jessica George will be on serve, 6 serving 1. Similar to lead by 5 in game 3. Match tied at 1-all. Stewart down the line for the winner. She had 3 kills in that second game in which Swink won 25-23. There were 18 ties in that second game. Simla won the first 25-22. 6-2 here in game number 3. We will go 4 games at least. Here's George. Blocked. Too many hits. Swink tried to play it off the block. Did Tatum and Estrada. Just could not get the ball back up and over. And the point for Simla, and it's 7-2. And in the substitution, nope, they want to check and make sure the rotation is correct, does Heath Grantham. He asked for that from Lisa Gran, our floor official, by way of Campo, Colorado. As the serve is off of Stewart, out of bounds. Point for Alexander and Simla, 8-2. She's had a couple of slam dinks, and now with a service point. And another service point, and that's a service ace. She had 2 of those in the last game, her first here, and it's 9-2 Simla. Off to a commanding lead in game 3 after losing that second game. Holland bumps it up. Nobody is there. Off the net and down. Another point for Simla. 10-2. Holland comes out. Libero comes in. Chahura. (11-2) and another service ace for Alexander. Chahura bumps it up to Tatum. Far side for Stewart. Off the block. Mitchell just could not do it all herself there. She tried. She got the block, but it landed in front of her. She tried as she was falling backwards to hit it up in the air and fell to the ground. 11-3. Gallegos will check in for swing. Lofts it over. Here's Alexander. Shoots, sets to Mitchell, and it's long on the hit. Cross court. Tried to go in the back corner and hits it too long. It's 11-4. Gallegos again. Punches it over deep in the corner and finds a spot. Brett Smith didn't think so. Neither did the bench for the Cubs. The official calls it on the floor. She was right there, right in front of her. Had seen it hit. She calls it a service ace for Gallegos, and it's 11-5. Here's the set for Mitchell, and she's rejected by Robertson at the net. 11-6 on the stuff block by Robertson. (11-2) was the score, and here comes Swink right back. They trailed by 9. It's now 5. And an over that line violation on Simla. It's 11-7. Gallegos again on the serve. Soft and short. Diving dig for Brett Smith. Here comes Mitchell. Pancake dig in the back row by Tatum, but to no avail. Mitchell will get the kill and the point for Simla. It's 12-7. That'll be her first kill here in game number 3. She only had 3 in game number 2, and there's a point for Simla on the serve. It's 13-7 Cubs. Punched over by Sammy Katz on the serve. Back to Suma, the opportunity. Mitchell behind her setter. Great dig by Chahura. Here's the set. Stewart goes down the line for the winner. Stewart from the left front to the right back finds the line. She gets another kill, her second of this third game. It's 13-8. And Maddie will have the serve. Here's Alexander using George in the back row. It's off the net and off Robertson, who tried to control it, not able to. George will get credit with a kill. And it's 14-8. George has 2 of those. Now 3. And Mitchell will serve. Here's Tatum. Back row hitting is Stewart, who tried to go just over the top of the tape. Couldn't do it. Point for Simla. It's 15-8. Unlike the last game, making no doubts who's the undefeated team right here. Is Swink just not able to get any offense going. 15-8. Here comes George down the middle. Dug out in the back row by Stewart on her knees. Slam dink dumped up by Tatum. Here comes Mitchell, or George again. Dug out by the Lions. They tip it over. Back tip. Smith saves. Alexander bumps it back over. On the Swink side, here's Tatum bumping it to her sister. Dug out by the Cubs. Here's George off the tape. Dug out by Gallegos. Shoot set. Tatum from Tatum. Back low and finds the corner. Lindsay Tatum finds that back row. Brett Smith trying to slide over there. Not able to get there. Lindsay the kill. 15-9. Robertson the serve. A lot of rotation on it. Brett Smith down to get it. The libero for the Cubs. George finds the cross-court winner. From left front, to right back. 16-9, fourth kill for Jessica. Simla on the serve with a 7-point lead in game 3. Tatum, another kill. Brett Smith in that dark blue libero uniform. Tatum with her second in a row. 16-10, Swink on the serve. Mitchell to her knees, back to George. George half volleys it. Chahira to the setter. Here's Tatum, double block. Great dig in the back row by Stewart. At the net, Joust tipped over by Tatum. Lindsay Tatum is in the net for Swink. Point, Simla. 17-10. Chahura on the return. Tatum, soft volley, dug out by Simla. Here's George, tough angle, out of bounds. 17-11. Cubs by 6. Swink won the last game. Simla won the first. We're in game 3. Winner plays undefeated Lutheran for the title tonight at 7. Everybody in the state would like to see the battle of undefeateds except for the Swink fans as George hits it long. 17-12. Heath Grantham is asking if they're coming over the top of the net. Ava Bear in the chair says no. Lindsay Tatum on serve. 5-point lead for Simla. Swink on the serve. Here's George. Mitchell from the back row. Long again. 17-13. We've not had a tie here in game 3. Loft the serve over. Brett Smith, back set, middle, George. Replay, ball in the court from another court. And we'll do it all again. Simla's biggest lead has been 11-4 and 15-8. Swink has not led in game 3. Brett Smith, Alexander. George into the face on the cupcake for Estrada. She got cupcaked by Miss George. 18-13. Simla by 5. Here's Estrada off the block of Mitchell and down. So Estrada says, I'll play that game and get one back. She does. Her first kill of game 2. 18-14. 5 kills now for George in the game. 18 in the match. In our third game, 18-14 Simla. Here's Alexander with an attempt. Bumped up by Estrada. Stewart tries to tip it across, dug out by Mitchell. Back bump of the set at the net. Oh, pancake dig on the far side. A beauty by Casey Smith, but nobody able to help her out. She sprawled out and hit the back part of her hand, but nobody able to help her out. The point to Swink, and it's 18-15. Howland's serve is off the tape. Here's Mitchell with his swing. Oh, Stewart almost got a deflection off the hit by Mitchell and almost got it over the tape. But to no avail, and the point to Simla and the serve. Mitchell to kill her second here. Alexander the serve, out of bounds it goes. 19-16. Simla by 3. Gallegos will check in for Estrada. Gallegos will serve. 1-1 tie on a snowy day. It was absolutely coming down in raining cats and dogs. It was snowing really, really hard outside when I walked out on the concourse as Mitchell puts it down off the block of Swink. Another point for Simla, and it's 20-16. Heavy snow. Stewart sets the middle. Roberson dug out by Simla and Sammy Katz. And it goes off of the Swink defender in the back row, says the back line. 21-16. Grantham not happy with it. His team not happy with it. Simla 21-16. Timeout, Lions. Grantham asking for some help from the line judge on the far side. He's not going to get it. 1-1 tie in our state semifinal match in the games. Simla leads game 3, 21-16 when we come back to the Coliseum in the 2A State Volleyball Championships on CHSAA.tv. Back to the Coliseum. Sammy Katz on serve for Simla. Swink back row hitting is Tatum. Bump it up front. Here's Mitchell. Half volley, dug out back row by Tatum. Sarah Tatum sets up Roberson with a big hit. Great dig in the back row by George. Back to the Swink side. Free ball opportunity. Tatum turns and squares the shoulders. Dug out by George on the Simla side. Back to the Swink side for a free ball. Tatum too close on the pass. Stewart tried to tip it over. Saves it. Simla side. 21-16 lead for the Cubs. Here comes Mitchell and looked like she was going to pound it. Softly taps it over in front of Chahura in the back row, and it's 22-16 Simla. 3 points away from game number 3 victory, and to go up 2-1. Overpass at the net. Into the net is number 1, Sarah Tatum. Point Simla, 23-16. Sammy Katz on the serve. Stewart steers it up front. Slam dink. Dug out by Katz. Here's the set. Dug out on the hit by Mitchell. Back to Simla. Here's Smith going into the back row and just over the hand of Lindsay Tatum. Out of bounds, 23-17. Swink will have the serve after the misfire. Lineup check for the floor official, Lisa Grahn. Asked by Sue Snyder. As Madison Stewart gets ready to serve for the Lions of Swink. Trailing 23-17 in game 3. Brett Smith digs it. Pushed across by Mitchell and down. When Mitchell hit it across court, they bumped it up, but nobody was there to help it over. Holland. Platte Valley wins that playoff that they had between 3 teams, beating Roaring Fork and now Eaton after Eaton had just beaten them. So Platte Valley goes to the 3A semifinals, and they'll finally play a semifinal match. We'll be sitting watching as the hit off Lindsay Tatum and off the block of George goes right down along the net and down on the Simla side. And it's 24-18. Jacquard comes back in for Holland. Robertson will be on serve. Simla's 1 point away from game number 3. And to go up 2-1 in this state semifinal. Here's George punching it across, and there it is. 25-18 Simla. Oops, check that. It hit the pole. My bad. 24-19. My mistake. Swink still with a chance. Here's Stewart bumping it up top to Tatum. Tatum, the sister, over the top of the block and out of bounds. And now Simla moves on. An extra point it took, but nonetheless, Simla gets there. With the victory, they move on to game number 4, holding a 2-1 lead here in the second state semifinal. The winner gets Lutheran in the state championship. Swink's going to have to win this next game to force a game 5, something that Simla hasn't seen since early in September. We'll come back to the 2A State semifinals in the state volleyball championships from the Coliseum on CHSAA.tv in a minute. Back to the Denver Coliseum as we get set for game number 4 in our second semifinal in Class 2A. Simla leads 2-1. As I said earlier, the first time they've been in a 4-game situation since September 22nd. They had won 19 in a row by 3-game sweep, so this is foreign territory for them. Alexander pounds down the first kill for Simla, and they lead 1-0 in game 4. They're 27-0 after winning yesterday in 3 and winning this morning in 3 against Fowler. Trying to take out the other half of the Santa Fe League here. Hit by George off of Roberson into the crowd of Simla Cub fans. And it's 2-0. George is having a fantastic match. 8 kills in the first game, 5 in the second, 5 in the third, now 1 here. She has 19 for the match. And a service ace. Hannah Lutz on the serve. Gets the ace, and it's 3-0 Cubs in game 4. Our first game 4 of the day as well. Everything been 3-0 sweeps. Alexander goes deep into the back row. Stewart to Tatum to Roberson. Far off the hands. Check that, that's Jackhart. Cross court, way out of bounds, and it's 4-0 Simla in game 4. Not a good start for the Lions. And a tough return. Roberson got a piece of it. Back bumped across. Free ball opportunity for the Cubs. Alexander sets up Mitchell in the back row. Half volley to the net. Joust won by George. 5-0 timeout. Heath Grantham and Swink. Simla 5, Swink 0. Game 4. Simla leads 2-1 in the state semifinals of the 2A State Volleyball Championships on CHSAA.tv. After the timeout, 5-0 Simla in game 4. Here's the serve. It goes off the tape, dug out by Swink, bumped up in the air. Bump set from Alexander, far side, knocked over by Katz. Here comes Tatum. Trying to smack it across is Jackhart. And into the net is Swink. That would be Jackhart. Point Simla, 6-0 Cubs in game 4. Serve is deep, bumped up by Stewart. Back bump to Tatum, to the other Tatum, off the block, sliding dig by Mitchell, but nobody can get it. Lindsay Tatum with a kill. Her first point for Swink at 6-1, and the serve for the Lions is sister Sarah Tatum will serve it. Bumped up by Brett Smith. The hit by George was light, taps it over the defense and down. George with the dink winner. 7-1 Simla. Jessica George, the senior, who wants to play in a state title. Here's the set at the net. Sliding dig attempt on Estrada's hit. Not in time of the Cubs as 3 of them went sprawling out with their hands, kind of made like a sundial in front of them, but not able to get there as Estrada gets the kill. First one for her in the game, and it's 7-2 Simla. Here comes Mitchell with a running attempt into the block, back to the Cubs side. Alexander tried to slam dink it, and it goes right into the top of the tape. 7-3 Simla. Simla won the first 25-22. The second featured 18 ties as Mitchell rips it in the back corner. Her first kill in game 4. 8-3 Cubs. Alexander with a serve. Floats it in the back row. Back set at the net. Roberson for Jackhart. Bumped up by George. They'll set the front. Mitchell with another swing. Dug out. Right back to the Simla side. Free ball opportunity. Mitchell tries to slap it across. Can't do it. Dug out by the Lions. Another free ball chance for the Cubs, though. Here's Mitchell. Down the line in for a winner. You keep giving Mitchell and George an opportunity, they're going to cash in. And Mitchell gets another kill, her second here in game number 4. It's 9-3 Simla. Down the line is Stewart's attempt, dug out by Alexander. Casey Smith with a try. Jackhart blocked at the net. Double hit called on Swink. 10-3. Another timeout for the Lions. 10-3 Simla game 4. What is going on with the Swink Lions right now? They need to find an answer, and in a hurry. We take a break from the 2A state semifinals on CHSAA.tv. After the timeout, we're ready to go. Alexander on the serve. Bumped up by Stewart. Here comes Stewart with a big hit. Down the line, back corner it goes. Brett Smith tried to stretch out for it, could not do it. Could not do it. Swink on the serve. Simla up 10-4. Here's the set in the middle. Thrown down on a lift is called by Mitchell. First time they've called her on that, as she's done that many a times this afternoon and this morning. She just kind of throws it right down after catching it, and they finally called her for it. 10-5. Here's Mitchell taking out her aggression on the ball. Yay! Just blasted that ball straight to the ground. They might need a new ball after that. 11-5. And the serve passes off the intended target of Tatum to Tatum. Out of bounds it goes. 12-5 Simla. Cats with the ace. Here's Tatum to Tatum. Tipping it over is Estrada. Bump set at the net. Tipped over by Alexander. Stewart saves it. Back to the Cubs side. Chance for the point. Smith into the middle. Dug out by Howland. Here's Tatum taking a back row swing on it. Goes long. 5. 13-5 Simla. Game 4. Winner plays Lutheran in the state title tonight at 7. Into the net was Smith for the Cubs. And it's 13-6. The pass was going long, and she thought she might have a play on it. She touches the net. Gallegos will come in and serve for the Lions, trailing 13-6. 2 games to 1 they trail in the match. Gallegos punches it over the left hand, bumped up by Mitchell. She'll get the back set, goes into a double block, and down for Swink. Madison Stewart, Leah Roberson with the double block. And the winner for the Lions, 13-7. 13-7, thank you. Looking at the scoreboard down below, and they finally turn it. The serve is too soft into the net. Mistake. Point Simla, and you just can't give them that with a 6-point lead. Here comes Mitchell. Howland bumps it up for the Lions. Here's an attack by Roberson, and it goes off the tape. Over the block and down. Roberson credited with the kill. She's had a couple on the day. Not many, though, and it's 14-8. Right back to Madison Stewart on the serve for Swink. Down 6. Alexander sets up George. George off the double block. Nope. George was in the net. No, my bad. One on the other side. Swink was in the net. No kill for George for the net violation. Nonetheless, it's a point, 15-8. It should be Simla still on serve. And the Cubs are on serve. Casey Smith will take a swat at it. Back row bumped up by Gallegos. Slam dink attempt by Tatum. No avail. George goes off the block of Robertson and down. George with kill number 2 for her in this game. 20 on the match. 16-8 Cubs. Smith. Back row, pass too far, opportunity and down. Overpass by Holland. Alexander, the setter, rams it down. It's 17-8 Simla. And it looks like it might be 2 undefeateds for the state championship. What a match that'll be. 17-8. Here's Tatum, dug out in the front row by the Cubs. Back set, George, back row winner. 18-8. Third kill of the game for George. 21st on the afternoon in this match. George pushes it over. Holland just flips it back. Free ball opportunity. Bad pass. And Robertson pounds it down to stop the bleeding for down. It's 18-9. Swink with the point and the serve. Jackhart will check in for the freshman Taylor Holland. Not happy with herself at all as she takes a seat on the bench. Here's Robertson's serve. Brett Smith bumps it up. Casey Smith. Flick it over and down. Kinsey Mitchell just flicked it with both hands. It hit the top of the tape and curled and went right down to the ground. On the Swink side for the point. Simla up 19-9 in the serve. Stuff blocked by Alexander at the net on the tip attempt by Tatum. 20-9. Brawling dig by Stewart. Here's Tatum over the top of the block and down.